Morning, everybody. As you can see, I have to do a hive inspection today on our bees, and I'm going to attempt to do this and record it for you for the first time. We'll see how bad I fumble. Might be pretty bad. I got my smoker, got my stuff, and I wanted to come out here early just because it's going to be crazy hot today, and I'm not really trying to cook, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so the plan for today in the hive is we're going to check and see how they're doing. We are going to see if the queen's laying. We're going to see how much there is, how much food there is, the overall health of it. We're looking for more queen cells, which means they're trying to leave, and also feeding. So we're going to do all of these things today, which is good. Now, the bees have not been eating a lot, so that poses an interesting scenario where I think they're bringing in enough pollen to sustain themselves for right now, which is a very, very good thing. The unfortunate thing is this top box is going to be extremely heavy. We're just going to look in the top box and see how much comb they've actually built, and it looks like there may be a fair amount going on, which is a beautiful thing. So I also want to put my eyes on the queen today. So they're actually doing a pretty good job building out the frame, the honeycomb, or the comb, excuse me. So that's good. This is the middle one, so we're not really going to touch this box much. All right, this is the main part of the hive here. So those 5 frames in the middle that are discolored, that's where a lot of the action is going to be. Haha, I said bee. So we'll see. Now we need to find the queen and all that other stuff. I did see some honey on the top frame, just a little bit, so that means that they're putting away some honey, which is very, very good. That means my mission is going well because they are making enough to where they can feed through the winter. And that's what we want. So we got plenty of time, and it should get a little bit better, especially as they get to fall. They should be able to make more and more honey, and then they can hopefully feed themselves to an extent through the winter. This is all from what I understand. I don't know this for a fact. So we're going to start from the outside and just work our way in. They're not really wanting to build this frame much, but that's okay. Starting to build out some comb. See, this up here is honey where it's capped, so that's a good thing. So I've been through this box and I was putting it back together. I'm just not quite set up to do like a really, really good video yet. But if I pull this out, you can see here is all honey. And some of the frames have way more. All of that is capped babies. So when all that hatches, the hive's gonna just really grow. And then if you can see that little yellow dot in that honeycomb, that is pollen. And so you can see we've got a lot of capped brood is what it's called. And then this little bumpy thing, that is a drone cell, so that's a male bee. It's a bit of a good news, bad news scenario. Good news is there's plenty of capped brood. So I don't know how many is in there. I would say probably about 1,000 more bees are gonna hatch. But, and I don't have a trained eye just yet because I'm, this is my second hive inspection ever. So it's hot. So I couldn't find the queen. And so the queen, she may be there. She may have died. I don't know. You can tell if you're trained, which I'm clearly not, by looking for the eggs, and you can say like, hey, she's been here for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, how many ever days has passed, so you could do that. I didn't see any eggs, but to be fair, when I did see the queen before, I never saw any eggs to start with. So, but what I did see is I would see like pupae or larvae inside of the honeycomb, and then I'd come back and it'd be capped over. This time I saw none of that. So it leads me to believe that I have a queenless hive right now. So I took out all of the swarm cells, which I've pulled them out over here. Let me see if I can sneak up. Bees are a little bit upset because I was kind of looking pretty hard for the queen. But these are what hang on the bottom. So I pulled these off, and these are the ones that are saying like, hey, the bees want to leave. They're ready to go. And then as I started getting through, I didn't show you guys because there was just like a lot of bees on it, which makes sense. There was a supersedure cell, and I just decided to leave it, let it be. If there's not a queen, then this one can hatch, and then they can figure it out. My other option, if I am queenless, and I got to call my mentor and ask him, is I can buy another queen and introduce it to the colony, which I could do. I don't want to spend like, what is it, like $50 or something? I feel like nature takes care of itself. But at the same time, in my first year, I don't want half of my bees to go because I'm trying to get ahead. And I'm actually, the reason why I came out here is because I have this empty box right here. And I wanted to take and split these because they really are having a hard time building their frame up. So the frame's getting the honeycomb on, but there's just so many of them that they're wanting to leave. And so we don't want that to happen. So my option is let them swarm or split them, and maybe they'll swarm, maybe they're not. But then the question I have now is, well, if I don't have a queen in one hive and I don't have a queen in another hive, then the issue becomes I don't have a queen at all, and I'll just have 2 split hives that will initially grow because they'll hatch what's there, but then there's nothing behind it. So it's like you grow and then you stop, and then you grow, you know, once we get it all figured out. So I'll have to figure it out and see what's going on. I imagine, here's my theory, and I'm gonna let you guys know if I'm right. So this hive, let's say it doesn't have a queen in it right now, but I left the cell so it can build a new queen. We leave that in there. We split it, so we'll take 1 or 2 frames of brood and put it in here, and then a frame or 2 of food, and then another frame, and then we introduce a queen to this one, and then shake some bees from this one into that one, and then now I think we might have a battle plan. So I just gotta wait a couple days and see what goes on. I've gotta talk to my mentor, see what he says, and then we can go from there. But I think that's my I don't wanna say uneducated, that's my semi-educated thought. We'll see what the educated thought is and then go from there. But yeah, that's a basic hive inspection. As I started going in there and I couldn't find the queen, because usually I can see her right away, and I didn't see the pupa, I knew I kind of had an issue. And it was like, I got to focus on that because I don't want them to leave. And they seem happy. They definitely have slowed down making the swarm cells, so that's a good thing. But at the same time, they're pretty close. So we'll see. But that is my first hive inspection on YouTube, and only my second hive inspection ever. So it went okay. I need to get a little bit more organized, and that'll come. But other than that, the bees are good, and we'll get this figured out, and I will keep you guys up to date.